Does St. John's get cold? Do we have sharks? Do we get hit with a lot of hurricanes? I'm going to answer all those questions today and more because we are unboxing St. John's. Welcome back. If this is our first time meeting, I'm Gary Davis, realtor with Coldwell Banker Vanguard Realty and creator of Experience St. John's. I've been a realtor for several years, and it seems like anytime I have people who move here from out of the area, they all have the same questions. So I figured, what better video to make than a video that answers those questions? All right, let's get to it. Okay, question one. Do we have sharks? Yes, we do. The ocean's right there, and that's where the sharks live. Now, that being said, I'm a native Floridian. I grew up on the Gulf Coast in Sarasota. Now I live here on the Atlantic. I have yet to see a shark in open water. So, are they prevalent and are you likely to get bitten? No. But are they there? Yes, absolutely. According to Wikipedia, and if it's on the internet, you know it's true, among beachgoers in the United States, you have a 1 in 11 million chance of being bitten by a shark. Likewise, you have a 1 in 264 million chance of being killed by a shark. So while the sharks are there, it's highly unlikely you're going to have an unpleasant encounter with one. That being said, at the time I'm making this video in September is the time of the mullet run, the time when the mullet are all spawning and schooling in huge pods near the shoreline. So there's lots of sharks and other predatory animals that are there for the same reason I'm first in line at an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you're watching this and you see shark sightings on the news and stories of sharks biting people, that's why. This is the time of year when it's most prevalent to see and encounter a shark. Question two. Do we get cold here in St. John's? Well, believe it or not, contrary to popular belief, North Florida is actually more like South Georgia than it is like the rest of the state. In the St. John's area, Jacksonville, North Florida area, we can get reasonably cold. January is our coldest month, and the average low temperature is 44 degrees, and the average high temperature is 66 degrees. That begs the question, can we drop below freezing? The answer is yes. It does happen every once in a while, but our proximity to the river and the ocean make it relatively uncommon, especially because we're close to the river. When a front comes in, usually that front will stop in Clay County or west of there because it's very hard for that cold front to jump the river and take us down to freezing. Our weather is mild, but it's unpredictable. I've seen Christmas Day at 80 degrees and I've seen Christmas Day at 40 degrees. So it's kind of like a box of chocolates here. You never quite know what you're going to get. And that takes me to question three. And this is the question I get asked most often, and it's usually by people moving here from outside the state of Florida. Do we get hit with lots of hurricanes? Well, while hurricanes are the predominant natural disaster that plagues us in Florida, our area is actually the least likely area in all the state to receive a direct hit from a hurricane. Since we began recording hurricane information in 1851, only 36 hurricanes measuring a Category 3 or stronger have hit Florida, but none of those 36 hurricanes hit our area. In fact, the strongest hurricane ever to make a direct impact on us was Hurricane Dora. It came ashore in St. Augustine on September 10th, 1964 at a high Category 2. Max sustained winds at landfall were 110 miles an hour, which is just right below a Category 3. So that begs the question, if our area gets hit so infrequently with hurricanes, but the rest of Florida receives direct hits, why is that? Well, there are a few reasons. The first reason is the cold waters of the Atlantic make it far less conducive to hurricane formation and sustainability than the waters of the Gulf do because the Gulf waters are a lot warmer. The next reason is the Gulf Stream. And in order to explain this, I need to go back to my days as a fourth grade teacher here in St. John's when I taught Florida history. And if you're one of my clients and you ask me about hurricanes, I can guarantee you've heard this story. The effects of the Gulf Stream can actually be seen all the way back to 1565 when the Spanish settled the area that is now St. Augustine. They chose that area specifically because it was the last place their ships were near land before they were carried back out into the Atlantic for the long journey back to Spain. The Gulf Stream is what caused them to be carried back out into the ocean. It's for this reason that many storms may skirt the Florida coastline near our area, but they effectively get carried northeastward back out to sea, just like those sailing ships did hundreds of years ago. So that's your history lesson for today, but it also should explain to you why our area is a little less prone to hurricanes than other parts of the state of Florida. And as a native Floridian, I've been through many hurricanes, especially living over on the Gulf Coast, and I can tell you that we Florida crackers are a lot more scared of 4 days without electricity and air conditioning than we are of the hurricane itself. Question 4. Why does it take so long to drive around Jacksonville? Well, in addition to the crazy traffic sometimes, Jacksonville is the largest city in the contiguous United States, coming in at 747 square miles. There are only 4 other cities larger than Jacksonville, and they're all in Alaska. So that's why it takes so long to get around the city. It's huge. Question 5. Do homes in Florida have basements? Well, the short answer is no. The majority of homes in Florida don't have basements, and the reason for that is because the water table here is really high. In most of Florida, the water table sits less than 8 feet under the surface of the ground, and in some cases, less than even a foot. That makes basement construction impossible. If you live in an area of Florida that's hilly, like Tallahassee or Ocala, yeah, we do have some hills in Florida in those areas, it might be possible to build a basement. But due to high levels of moisture in the soil and the quality of the soil, it's probably not the best idea. Okay, so there you have it, the first in our series of unboxing St. John's. I hope you found this video to be informative and helpful, and if you did, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and hitting that little bell so that you're notified each week when I drop a new video on Thursday. Also, if there's something you'd like for me to talk about or a question you'd like to have answered, go ahead and drop a comment below and let me know, and I'd be happy to make a video about it. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you right back here next time on Experience St. John's.